Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I honestly thought we were on at 8. My bad. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
Did I just do that entire review with the mic off? Ugh,
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
I did.
I'm sorry. I thought we were on at 8. My bad, dude. My bad.
No,
Okay.
no, it's fine. And I just did an entire review with my mic off.
Oh no.
So
Well, let's start over.
yeah,
Let's
so we
clear
could we could
slate
start
it.
over.
Okay,
Yeah,
clear slate it.
rewind. No, I realized that when you said, because nobody's really in the chat right now. So when you said I can't hear you, I looked over because you could, not sure you could see, but there's a light. So usually, so when that light's on, that means the mic's on. The light wasn't on,
Oh no.
so I muted it because I was coughing. So then I forgot to unmute it. So the first 15 minutes of the stream is mute.
Oh no. That's
But
all right.
yeah,
All right.
we'll have
So,
we'll have to go back and start from scratch.
all right.
So
Sorry about that. Yeah, I thought we were on at 8 o'clock. That's why I was like, better get up at 7 and get ready and stuff. And you're like, yo, we're supposed to be on at 7. I'm like, oh crap.
sorry to.
Sorry, y'all. I just was so excited. I thought we were on at 8. Okay, so oh boy. All right. So SummerSlam, yes, it was good. And later on, I will give my star ratings. But right now, take it away. Um,
Uh,
take it away. Take it from the top. From the
yeah,
top.
yeah. So I can't believe I left my mic mute for 15 minutes. But well, it'll have to. I'll put it down in the comments that my mic was muted. So okay. So SummerSlam was last night. And I can't believe. Anyway, forget it. We did it. It happened. Let's move on. So SummerSlam was last night, and
Yeah.
overall, I thought it was a good to great show. I mean, they did
Yeah.
everything that they needed to do with storylines and stuff like that. They did everything needed to do,
I mean,
and the
you were 3 for
matches.
3. You were 3 for 3.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
I'm not.
attempted.
Nope.
I
I'm never
attempted this.
doubting you again. Never doubting you ever again.
I I attempted to, to actually say that, like, oh well, I mean, and then I just muted the first 15 minutes of the show, but
uh,
yeah, so yeah. Anyway, so SummerSlam was gone. It was great and over good to great, depending on what match we're talking about. And this one match I didn't really pay attention to. That was the Nia Jackson Bailey match, but
and
we'll get to
Bailey,
that.
yeah, because I mean, no offense, if I can just make this comparison,
Yeah.
Nia Jax to me, she sounds like a woman. Excuse me, she sounds like a man trying to impersonate a woman. It's just the voice. I mean, I'm just like, is that a guy talking? What is she on that makes her voice sound like that? It's kind of like China, like she had that falsetto voice that just, it sounded like a guy's voice. I'm sorry, I hate to compare, but
It's fine. I mean, yeah, which is why I didn't really pay much attention to her, but to that match at least. But yeah, the first match we're starting off hot. Is WWE started off hot with this match.
oh my god, yes. And I was kind
Liv
of like,
Morgan.
I honestly thought that because it looked like Dom was trying to help her there. So like
Yeah,
when he takes the chair from her, he's like, "You are gonna get disqualified. I thought you wanted the belt. You wanted to take that from her, and
yeah.
prove that you're the number one dog or number one person."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "You know what? You're right." And then I honestly, I was tipped off when he threw the chair in the ring and he was distracting the referee, and then Liv went to do her move or whatever on the
Mm-hmm.
chair, and
Yeah.
then he stopped. He went because if he messed up, he would be like, "Oh, I gotta keep distracting the referee. Crap, I didn't want her to do that." And he would like,
Mm-hmm.
and then Liv would be like, "Get up and like stop distracting the referee or something." But no, he distracted the referee, and that's when I was like, "Oh, okay, he's gonna go with Liv." Yeah.
Yeah, and that the match itself was fine. Liv Morgan isn't the best worker. She's just a pretty face, but the part that got me when Rhea Ripley, popped her shoulder back in by herself
Oh yeah,
twice.
did you see that? She's like, I thought Dom pushed her into the thing, but no, she
No,
actually
she.
did that herself. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I was like, oh crap, maybe Angel was right. Holy crap! But then at the end there, obviously you were correct. He actually did turn on Ripley,
Hmm.
Rhea, and then went with Liv. He actually kissed her. And then, like, after
Yeah.
the match, like, what are they called? Judgment Day?
Hmm.
I mean, Damian Priest was pissed, and he acted like,
Yeah.
he was gonna take Rhea if Dom turned on her, but, I don't think they could find anyone. They couldn't find Rhea, they couldn't find Dom, they couldn't find anybody.
No,
And as we'll
Rhea.
get to later, you were right about that one
Hmm.
too. I was like, "Oh my god, he's 3 for 3." Okay, I'm never ever doubting Angel
Yeah.
ever again.
Li- So the finish was Liv Morgan hitting her finish
Yeah,
on the chair,
and
which
getting
her
the 1, 2,
finish,
3.
yeah, her finish is lame though. You look at it, it's like a rolling
Yeah.
DDT.
Yeah, it has
It's a rolling,
it lacks the finesse,
yeah.
okay? And she had to do it on a chair.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
It
just
was
trying to get comfortable here. There
it
we
was
go.
basically a rolling DDT, but I like the way that Rhea Ripley sold it because she sold it like
Mhm.
death. Most
Yeah,
girls don't. It's just most girls are just like, okay, bump 1, 2, 3, but she
yeah,
sold it well. Even though and they made the move look dangerous, even though it wasn't. It's just a rolling
right,
DDT that
right.
that is
And
lame. But
I like the way that, it was okay the first time. The second and third time, it wasn't cool when Rhea was putting her shoulder back in place. Okay, Rhea, you did it the first time, and I actually thought Dom did it. I actually
no,
thought
she
Dom
didn't.
grabbed her and pulled her into the thing. And then I was going to go, oh, Angel was right again. Um, and then, like I said, I was tipped off when he actually threw the chair in the ring, was distracting the referee.
Yeah.
Now, if he had done that on purpose, he would have continued to distract the referee, not just drop down and let Liv get the 1, 2, 3. Obviously, he would have kept distracting, and then let Rhea establish herself again. And then, that's when I was tipped off to when he was going to
Hmm.
literally turn on her. So,
The reason why I figured and I knew that would happen because Rhea Ripley at this point is a babyface. I mean, she was
right,
a heel when they first started together, but now the fans are cheering her, and
right.
she's a babyface, and Dom's a heel. He's still a chicken shit heel. So them being together doesn't make much sense. So it's like, okay, they have to turn Dominic at some point against her, and it happened last night, and you see the end where Dominic kind of was flipping off the audience, like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Uh, I did see that, yeah, and I was kinda like, "Well, why don't they just" that, and I was thinking that too. It's just I was like, "Well, why don't they just turn Dom?" But they were still booing him. So that would make sense to turn him to a babyface with
No, you
Rhea.
can't.
So,
No,
again,
because
you are psychically right.
the
Kudos to
fans,
you. I bow down to the master.
yeah, I joke, or I tried to joke around, but Mike was mute. I tried to joke around about how, yeah, I was Nostradamus, but it's like
Yes.
not really, because it's like if you basically what I predict is how I would book shit, but if
Mhm.
I were a booker, but it seems like me and Triple H on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and
So,
I complimented him on his X. I do follow him on X. I
uh huh.
actually did tell him, "Hey, I wish you were around when you could have booked Kurt like this, but we'll get
Mm-hmm.
that's later when the IC belt will change hands. But I honestly think that I wish Kurt had that. I had Triple H to book for him because I think that Triple H could have said, "Look, Hogan, Kurt is beyond your level. He's second generation. He knows how to do." Someone was
Mm-hmm.
telling me on X, "Oh, Kurt couldn't draw." Excuse me. Yeah, he could. That's why they were pushing him to be with Hogan. It was Hogan that wasn't drawing because by 89, 90, 91, people were sick of the
Yeah.
Hulkamania thing. And that's why Hogan wasn't drawing. But
Yeah.
people have their perceptives. Savage, again, Savage wasn't selling either. That's why they pretty much took him down the card and made him King Savage with Queen Sherry.
No, well, they got tired. I mean, Savage and Hogan were the two top draws for like from 84 to like what 88, 89, and then
About 88, yeah.
yeah.
And that whole
So
well, in 89, yeah, because everyone wanted to see the mega powers explode in
yeah,
89. And then someone tried to tell me, well, why would they even want to push Kurt if he wasn't drawing? He made Hogan look like $1,000,000, and then this person seemed to not think they knew what my point was, so they said I needed comprehension skills, and I'm like, I don't need comprehension skills. You need to
no,
comprehend what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is in those matches, if you watch them, Kurt makes Hogan look like $1,000,000. That's the draw. That's why they were going to push him.
yeah,
But whatever.
it's a similar principle to what Jim Crockett did with the Road Warriors and the Rock and Roll or not Midnight Express. Sorry,
Midnight
they
Express,
had
right?
yeah they had over dominant baby faces like the Road
Mm-hmm.
Warriors, and the Midnight were the chicken shit heels that would bump for the
Right.
for the bigger guys, and that's what got over. That's why
Jim
they love
Cornette
working with
said.
Midnight. The
Yeah, Jim
Midnight,
Cornette
yeah,
said he was a chicken shit heel, and it made babies go in the air when literally Jim Cornette got his comeuppance.
yeah.
Wasn't there like a diaper match or something with him in
Uh,
the Rock and Roll Express or something?
yeah, that was him and Express. I don't think they did that with the Warriors, but it
Okay,
might have been the Rock and Roll. But yeah, I mean, as soon as the baby face, nobody got to Cornette. It was rare, but
right,
when they did get to him, they popped. I mean, the fans loved it when Cornette got his. Basically.
right.
Well,
So, I'm gonna do my star rating for this
okay,
match. I give it 2. Because Liv Morgan doesn't know how to really Rhea knows how to put moves on. I
yeah,
seen that, but then there's also the fact that I mean, the shoulder popping thing, she just did it too much. It was
yeah,
too much. Do it one time, and if it doesn't go in right or Liv pops it back out, well, just do this a couple times, and but enough with the running into stuff to make your shoulder pop back in.
yeah.
That was a little
By the
overdone.
second or third time, it got old. It's like it
Yeah, it
wasn't
got
as cool.
old.
The first time it was like, whoa, okay, and then the second time is like, uh-huh. I think she did it 3 times in the match. Within the
She
match was
did it, yeah,
15 minutes,
3 or 4 times
and
within.
55 seconds.
Yeah.
So
And
it was too
what I
much, I
like for
thought too.
her, just to give her a little pep talk, because she's doing great work here, but sell
Yeah.
it. Sell it a little bit more. I mean, you just lost your boy toy, Dom.
Hmm.
Um, she seemed like she really wasn't upset. And that's just how I took it. Like she just
Yeah.
kind of stared off into space like this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
It
well,
was.
I want to see a little more emotion from you. Oh no, I just lost my boy toy. What am I gonna do? That kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
They did put up footage on either X or YouTube or something of her coming back through the stage attempting to cry. Attempting. It didn't look good, but attempting to cry at least. So it was like, she did show a little more emotion, but it still wasn't good. So that match is 15 minutes and 55 seconds. It didn't feel long. It felt that's the perfect time.
yeah, maybe it was just me, but yeah, it seemed longer than it was. But for what it was, I mean, on the grand scheme of things or the grand stage, I thought it
Hmm.
was excellent. I gave it two
Yeah.
stars because of Liv. You know, it from Rhea's perspective, she's a good storyteller, but I need a little more emotion from her. When she's
Hmm.
selling it, I need to see a little more emotion. And don't do the shoulder cracking so much or the putting it back in place. Maybe 1 or 2 times, but not like 3 or 4 times because it kind of gets old, just as you said.
Yeah, I got old.
So two
All right.
stars. That's pretty good.
All right. So the next match at a whopping 5 minutes and 40 seconds, Braun Breaker defeating Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title at
And it
a
didn't seem that long. It didn't seem that
exhausting
long
5 minutes
either.
and 40 seconds.
Well, that's
they,
because they wanted to give Sami Zayn a little bit of a chance.
yeah.
Loved Braum in this. He was excellent. I
Hmm.
loved it. I loved Braum from beginning to end. And then they had the shoulder thing with him because he had run into the post
Yeah. This
earlier.
is the second straight match where they were selling a shoulder thing. I was like, again.
Well,
So
but Braun is good at selling this. I mean,
Mm,
he tried to pick Sammy up. Oh no, the shoulder,
mhm,
and he couldn't get that
mm,
offense going. And then finally, he got a spear in and then a running spear, and it was over.
yeah,
I would like to see longer matches with Braun. I'd like to him Braun
yeah.
with
That's
the
the thing.
end.
You can butcher that name because I don't know why
uh,
they just didn't call him Rex Steiner. I mean, that's his name, and it's so much easier to pronounce
his real
than
name is
Braun
Rex.
Breaker. Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. I'm pretty sure. No, let me say Braun Breaker. Bronson Reichsteiner. So his name is Bronson. That's why they call him Braun Breaker. Okay.
Okay, well,
Everybody called him Rex. That's why.
no, it's cool.
Uh,
Rex or Braun. I always want to say like Bram Stoker.
yeah.
I'm a big Bram Stoker fan. But let's see this. The only thing I wanted to see was a longer match because I wanted to see more of Braun skills. I wanted to see his skills in action. He has
Yeah.
great skills. There was a lot of, and his selling was excellent. I loved it. Um,
Hmm.
Not so much from Sammy, but again, Sammy probably politicked and said, "At least give me some offense or let me
Yeah, he had
have
to.
somewhat of a match." Yeah.
Ninja, we'll get to the main event.
Oh,
We'll
we
get
will
to
get
Roman,
there
but yeah,
because
but I
again,
agree.
Angel,
Yeah.
he is like Nostradamus over here. I'm like, I'm never doubting you ever again. I was telling you that over
Yeah.
messaging
Last night, yeah, she was.
last night. Yeah, we were messaging during SummerSlam. I
Yeah.
was watching it. Um, my star rating for this match, I give it 3 stars, and that's only because of Braun. Okay.
Hmm.
I love the work that Braun is doing. His dad was in attendance, his uncle was there, DDP was there, Kevin
Yeah.
Nash, Sean
Hmm.
Waltman was also there. So you had legends that were there that, I mean, and I'm sure Rick Steiner was ecstatic that his son won the Intercontinental belt. And
Yeah.
this is where I kind of said to Triple H on his X, I kind of said, you know what? I wish you kind of were booking when Kurt was in the scene. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I meant by that earlier, is
Yeah.
that when this IC belt, had changed hands, and Kurt had the belt twice within 1990 and 91, but I just would have loved to have seen Kurt have the IC belt maybe in 89. Okay. And then,
Yeah.
move him on kind of like they did with Gunther, which
Yeah.
we will get to. I give it
Y-
3 stars because of Braun. I don't give it 4 stars because, and this is out of what, 5 stars.
Yeah.
So I
We'll
make
go
mine
with
out of
five.
5 stars, not 7
Three.
like David Meltzer. So he gets 3 stars because I love Braun's work. I don't like Sammy's. I think Sammy he needs to go back to wrestling school and learn how to do proper holds and moves.
Well,
It just kind of seemed like he was capitalizing on the fact that Braun hit his shoulder. So,
yeah. Well, the thing, Sami Zayn is an excellent underdog babyface. I mean, he looks like
mhm,
shit. I mean, he does. He look. I have a better physique than he does,
yeah,
but he's a great underdog babyface, which is why they use him in that role. I think he's best in that role as like the
right.
underdog.
And when they
But
said that Rick Steiner was there and Scott Steiner were there, I was like, well, then he's definitely getting the belt because
yeah, exactly.
they're not going to do. I mean, they let Sammy win in front of his Canadian fans. Now it's time
Yeah,
for Braun because his dad, uncle, and other legends are there. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
I knew ahead of time that this was probably going to be Braun Breaker's day or night.
yeah,
But so happy for him. I messaged him and said, congratulations, you did your dad proud. I'm sure your dad's very proud of you. Your uncle's very proud of you as well. Uh,
Rhea
it was
Ripley
it
got
was
done
really good.
dirty. No wonder why his name is Dirty Dom. Yeah, I mean, but it was that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it was 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I would give it 3 stars too. The only reason why I wouldn't go higher is because the match was too short. But I know
Hmm.
that Braun can do a 20-30 minute match because
Absolutely.
when he was the NXT champion down in NXT, I watched him regularly, and he can do the defending babyface world title 20-30 minute match. So he can do it. It's just that there's no reason to do it right now
Right.
because nobody should be challenging him right now.
No. And like I said, he did great selling, great
Hmm.
work. And of course, he was very, very excited and happy when he won. Um, that's a nice belt. I am a little partial though. The belt that Kurt had was better. But I love the IC belt. I think it looks awesome. And
Yeah, it looked good.
congratulations. Sorry, man. Congratulations to Braun Breaker. I'm very excited for you, and I can't wait to see what you
Mhm.
got in the future for us. I mean, like I said, he's 21. He's
Yeah,
got so much potential, and I can't
yeah, he
wait to
does.
see him be elevated like they did with Gunther. Hmm.
Yeah, like I think I said this on X last night. They should eventually build up to Braun Breaker versus Gunther.
Yeah.
Neither guy does a job. Neither guy does nothing. They beat everybody for the
Hmm.
next year and a half until
Oh
you
yeah.
build up to that match with Gunther with Braun Breaker being the Intercontinental Champion and Gunther being the World Champion. And and you set up that match either at
Hmm.
WrestleMania or SummerSlam or whenever you decide to do this match. But
Well,
yeah,
and
I
I
mean
hope this
that.
doesn't come off as mean or anything, but the Damian Priest thing, I did see like little commercials. They're doing a documentary on Damian Priest. Oh, he was homeless. Oh, he was this, he was
Yeah,
that. Look, guys, wrestlers, not all wrestlers start, from a good family. They don't start from, they start poor or in like middle class families. These guys aren't born rich, okay? It just seemed to me like they were telling the story of every other wrestler to do it. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
every wrestler came and had, the times when they were poor or, they slept in their car because they couldn't afford to go to a motel or hotel. I mean,
yeah.
it's been told already. Okay. We know some of these guys' backgrounds, and we know that not all of them came from rich families. In fact, like maybe one or two of them came from rich families, and that's about it. Maybe. A lot of
Well,
these other guys, and like I said, that has nothing to do with the fact that he's from Puerto Rico or that he's Latino descent. Nothing against that. It's just the story's been told already. We've already kind of heard some that most of these
yeah,
guys literally they didn't have money to eat, so they didn't eat. Some of them slept in their cars. I mean, it's already been told, and I'm not trying to say Damian Priest doesn't deserve props. He does. He's
hmm
he the champion. He was the champion, and um kudos to him. But I just think that, and like I said, if I'm out of line here, let me know. But it just seems like it's
no,
always that story's already been told from other wrestlers who you know uh, not everything is oh, these guys are making millions of dollars. No, in the territories, a lot of them had second and third jobs.
hmm
They had jobs outside of wrestling because you had to, because in the some territories wouldn't pay you unless you were a jobber or you were the champion.
yeah,
So if you were kind of like in that middle stage, you didn't get paid.
yeah.
So
Well, I think that documentary came out exactly at this time because they're turning him babyface, so they're trying to make him seem more sympathetic.
mhm.
So it's not a coincidence why the documentary came out now instead of 6 months ago. So when he was a
And I
heel
mean,
still.
kudos to him. He said he
Mhm.
was homeless, and he wasn't doing so well in wrestling. He gained a lot of weight and didn't look good, didn't feel good.
Yeah,
Um,
he
and then,
looked.
someone took him aside and said, you need to change your life, you need to change your attitude. And he became a champion for that.
Yeah. So yeah, Braun Breaker, good match, fantastic. Next match, LA Knight defeated Logan Paul for the United States title at 12 minutes. So
Yeah, see, the thing is, there's matches in here that are longer than most, and they're the matches I didn't really care about. I really didn't care who won this match, and my star rating is I give it a 0.5 star because there just was nothing there. I mean, oh, so the guy goes over to his house. Why would you break into someone's house? And where's all the
mm,
security? That kind of
yeah,
thing. I
well,
just think it was a
that's
dumb thing to do.
yeah.
Dumb
I mean,
storyline.
they needed to get this belt on LA Knight because they're gonna kill him off. Like a baby face that talks and talks. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna beat this guy, and he never beats anybody. So eventually, he's gonna kill him off, no matter how over he is right now. So he needed something to and
Okay.
then now they gave him the U.S. title. Hey, he has something. He has something to hang his hat on. Like, hey, I'm
Right.
the U.S. champion and I won the U.S. title. So now he has some justification later on to go up the card. But there were some there was a big botch in this match when LA Knight tried the superplex. I'm not sure you saw this part. You may not paying attention, but he tried a superplex and he almost dropped Logan Paul right in his head. Like,
Kind of like
like
that thing where Shawn Michaels is standing like straight up on the top of his head. I'm like,
yeah.
doesn't that hurt?
Like I think LA Knight wanted to do a regular suplex, but he didn't get him over, and like
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul did this. It's like, oh, it's like, oh shit, and it's like he was fine, but he finished. But I'm
See,
like,
that's
oh
the
my
thing.
god,
But that shouldn't have happened. And if they were
no,
really professionals, I mean, that wouldn't have happened. But I mean, accidents happen.
yeah, accident. That's an
But
accident, but
this was just this match was so non-entertaining. I did watch some of it. It just was so not entertaining, and I just
yeah, it
I
was.
almost turned it off at that point. I was like, no, I got to keep going. Sorry.
It was the belt. It was designed to get the belt onto LA Knight, and they wanted him to
Hmm.
beat somebody important, so they put it on Logan Paul. So Logan Paul was somebody, even though he's just a YouTuber and a celebrity or whatever, but he's still, and he's good. I mean, he's not bad. He's good. He's really good, I think, for
Well, and
somebody
he was
that's
being a
had.
good heel there too for a
Yeah,
while. I know when I watched a little bit of the oh, what was that? That match where they have the elimination chamber match. I mean, he was a
yeah,
good heel, and it just seemed wasn't he the one that was running the head into the thing? I'm just like, oh, come on,
he
so
might have been.
fake.
I don't remember. Yeah, but the finish was kind of weird, and it wasn't a good finish. Logan Paul was handed the brass knuckles he likes to use by a rapper, Machine Gun Kelly. He's just some rapper. He's really
Hmm.
skinny too. He's like, dude. I mean, he doesn't eat. He's so skinny. But I digress. It doesn't matter much. He hands him the brass knuckles. Logan Paul kind of does this, like to show the camera, yeah, I got the shit. Then
Hmm.
LA Knight grabs him, he's on the apron, he grabs him, try to do something. He like slightly hits him with the brass knuckles. LA Knight no sells it and hits his finish and just pins him. So I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was just
That was a
like,
weird
are
finish.
they
Like,
gonna ever sell anything? I mean, and then these guys have 4 and 5 finishers, and they still kick out of those too. I mean,
yeah,
Cody did it, and I was kind of not happy with it, but it made sense that because it can't end like this without Roman coming out. But they waited and waited and waited so long, and then
yeah, they milked the
but
shit out of that. We'll get
they
to it,
milked
but
the crap out of that, and he just kept kicking out of everything, and I'm just like, oh, come on.
yeah, they
I
milked
mean,
the
why do
shit
you
out of
guys
that.
have finishers at all? If they're people are just gonna kick out of them. So that was my thing.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, the match was I wasn't impressed, and
Mm-mm.
LA the right guy won, but it's like the match could have been so much better. But yeah, LA Knight is kind of like the modern day Rock. Rocky's matches were never good, but he was so
Mm-hmm.
over as a character that it didn't matter. He didn't need to be good in the ring. LA Knight's kind of like that. He's not at the level of the Rock, but he's right. He does that. He doesn't have good matches, but he's so over as a character that nobody cares. Nobody complains about it.
Yeah.
All right. The next match, Nia Jax defeating Bailey for the women's title at 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
And see, I did kind of pay attention to this, the Tiffany Stratton thing. I honestly thought she was going to hand in. I did not realize she was a friend to Nia Jax.
Yeah, she
So
used to.
I just assumed that she was going to come down and do the Money in the Bank thing, but she didn't hand the thing to. So I guess that was my mistake. I didn't see her actually hand the
Yeah,
briefcase
no,
off
she never handed it in.
and say, I'm
Uh,
going to. She just came down the ringside and Bailey just knocked
yeah,
her down,
yeah.
which
So
got Nia Jax the win because, Bailey was distracted.
allegedly, allegedly, this was a part of Nia Jax's plan to have her come
Hmm.
out and pretend to cash in to distract Bailey so she can beat
Right.
her, which is what
Right.
happened. But they did some foreshadowing when Nia Jax was celebrating because they had Tiffany Stratton like stare at the belt if while she was celebrating, and Nia Jax didn't notice. So they definitely did some foreshadowing there that Tiffany Stratton's
Uh,
going to turn on her at some
I
point.
give it a point 0.5 and be happy I did it with that.
Yeah, I didn't watch
Because
this
I
match that
just
much
I
either.
didn't like this match, and again, the whole thing with Tiffany Stratton coming down and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna hand in the nobody's looking." Okay, I got the Money in the Bank, right here. And maybe in future, she will turn on Nia Jax and then win And that's
Yeah.
how, keep your friends closer, or keep your friends close and your enemies closer, so to speak. So it could be like a
Yeah.
frenemy right there.
Yeah,
We'll
that's my
see.
suspicion. They'll over the next few months they'll build up like tension between Tiffany and Nia Jax, even though they're friends, but not
Hmm.
until eventually she cashes in on her and becomes a champion at some point. I don't know when or how they're gonna do it, but
Right. Like the
like
frenemy of the
yeah,
Judgment Day, which we will get to, but
yeah.
kind of like that frenemy, where
Mhm.
eventually they'll get jealous and then they'll turn on their friend.
Well, the next match at 17 minutes, which honestly I thought this match was a little longer, but it says 17 minutes here. Drew McIntyre defeating CM Punk by pinfall.
This had my every undivided attention
Yeah, I
because
did too.
I was talking to my man and he said, I'll take Drew. And I said, well, I'll just take CM Punk just for the heck of it. And we'll see what happens. This was really a coin toss anyway.
Yeah, it was. It
Um,
was
because I mean, you and I were like, I don't know who to
last week.
pick. I
Yeah.
mean, because CM Punk needed to get the bracelet back because it was very personal for him.
Hmm.
But then Drew McIntyre needed to win because CM Punk screwed him all that time.
Yeah.
So this was really a toss up and a very, very, very good match. But like I said about those pants, I mean, how far did Seth Rollins chase a gay guy for them pants? I mean, come on, he's bedazzled, all right, you know. Um, and supposedly he's married to a woman, just like John Moxley.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Well,
Um, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you think?
yeah. I mean, it was a great match. I mean, it was everything it needed to be. They told the story. The wrestling was good. I didn't see any issues with that. Seth Rollins, the
They
interaction
did
with him
wrestling
was
holds. They
good.
did
Yeah,
wrestling holds. I was
the
like, my
interaction.
God, that's a wrestling hold.
Yeah. Seth Rollins, the interaction with Seth, both for McIntyre and Punk was really good. Especially when Seth Rollins let them do whatever the hell they wanted. Basically, it's like, oh, go ahead, beat him up. Beat him up some more. And he would
Well,
like needle both guys and
and you could
throughout the
see, like,
match.
with CM Punk and Drew, you could kind of see them say, "Come on, Seth, you know, do your job." Well, he was okay. So,
And at one point, like, oh, I have a bad knee. I couldn't get down quickly. He's messing with I think Drew because Drew was staring and he wanted to kill him. Like, oh,
yeah.
my knee. I have a bad
So
knee,
this
I
was
couldn't.
good entertainment. Mwah. Okay, I
Yeah,
give it
is it?
3 stars
And
because again,
hmm
the dramatic stuff. So 3 out of 5 ain't bad, guys. Like I
no,
said, with Braun Breaker, I gave
I give
him
it a
three
three.
stars. So Um, this was exactly what it needed to be, and you were kind of like, "Root, come on, CM Punk, get the
Yeah,
bracelet
I
back,"
found
and then
myself.
it fell on the mat, and Seth Rollins picks it up and puts it on. Oh, here we go.
Hmm.
Okay, here we go with the Seth Rollins and the CM Punk angle. Okay,
So
so. CM Punk accused him of doing it on purpose, and Seth said, "I just wanted to pick it up. I didn't want you to lose it. I didn't want you to
yeah,
kick it out of the ring and lose it."
yeah. So it was innocent, but at the same time, CM Punk ain't gonna see it that way.
No,
So they set up a match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins at some point down the line, and they
right.
set up a rematch between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre because
And
the
Drew
finish
McIntyre.
he
Right.
grabbed the bracelet back and walked out with it again. So this is going to continue, which
Yes.
I don't have a problem with. I mean, it's not like I have a problem with it. I don't. CM Punk needs to gets his win back anyway. So
Right. And here's the thing, guys. I think it was good storytelling. This is exactly what they need to do. This is how you get ratings. It was excellent, excellent. And again, I like Drew. I like the stories that he's doing. I like the CM Punk angle where it's personal, with the bracelet and everything. I saw the thing on X. Oh, it's about a bracelet.
yeah,
Guys, it doesn't matter if it was like a ring or like a gem or some kind of like, pendulum, that it had personal meaning. Okay,
yeah,
so some
hmm
guys don't put their wife's name on a bracelet. They put it on like I don't know what guys put their wife's name on. But when you are in that situation, say it was, I don't know, a pendant with, your wife's, or it was a locket with your wife's picture in it and you and your dog.
yeah,
Okay, put it like that. Or if it's more masculine, to put, a ring around your neck like Stone Cold did. Stone Cold would
yeah.
wear his wedding ring around his neck
Uh huh.
as a necklace. So
Hmm.
again, it's that personal element. It doesn't matter if it's a bracelet or a necklace or a locket or whatever it is, guys. It doesn't matter. The only reason why Drew brought that into it or had took the bracelet in the first place was to make it personal. It was good
Yeah.
storytelling. It was to, hey, Punk, I'm going to ruin your life and I'm going to be personal with you. That's where they needed to go with it because
Yeah.
again, it's good storytelling. People can relate to that. And now CM Punk is going to be the baby face here and Drew McIntyre's, oh, he's the evil bastard that took that his wife's bracelet, the
Hmm.
one with his wife's name on it and his dog.
Yeah. I had.
I mean, how and think of it this way, how would Drew like it if CM Punk did that to him?
Yeah.
So it's very personal there. That's where they wanted and needed to go with it. That's how you bring in viewers. Hell, I was sitting there screaming, "Come on, Punk, let's go!"
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Seth
brilliant.
Rollins, how did you get the bracelet? So I mean, and it seemed innocent. He's like, dude, I picked it up so you wouldn't lose it. That you
Hmm.
I didn't want you to kick it or Drew kick it or something. Or get
Yeah. It
smashed. I
was.
think he said I also didn't want it to get broken or something.
Then eventually, towards the end of the match, Seth Rollins was like, "Look, I can't stand you. You're an asshole. We don't want you here in WWE. Just go. Just leave." So, and then eventually, that's Drew wins. What did he win with his finish? I think it was. I can't remember right now, but
Yeah, and it was because CM Punk got in Seth Rollins' face and
he was
literally
distracted.
yeah, so and I agree with the meme CM Punk screwed CM Punk on here.
Hmm.
But CM Punk, he didn't trust anybody. He's kind of like
Yeah.
that old school mentality that Stone Cold had, don't
Yeah.
trust anybody. CM Punk doesn't trust anybody. And again, it's not that Seth Rollins really hates him. I'm sure he doesn't hate him outside
Yeah.
of the story, but this it
Hmm.
fit the story because remember, Punk left and went to AEW and then
Yeah.
had problems. And that was because the other people, not CM Punk's
Yeah. They're
problems.
making reference to his AEW issues,
So in
even though they don't
passing,
directly say it. But
right. So Seth Rollins in passing was making comments about that. That's not exactly how he truly feels, I'm sure.
yeah.
But I mean, they just wanted to reference that because it's like, that Punk has that mentality that, don't piss me off, don't disrespect me,
Yeah.
and we'll get along just fine. So, in yes, CM Punk screwed CM Punk in this instance because he should have trusted a little bit in Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins was calling it straight down the middle. And then, yes, Seth Rollins did eventually attack him, but that's because, like I
Hmm.
said, unfortunately, CM Punk had struck him first.
So,
So,
yeah, it was a great match, and they told the story, and they set up matches for the future. And then I had people disingenuously tell me, "Oh, like you said, it was about a bracelet." It's like, no, it's like
no,
Hogan
this
in
is about something
'87.
else. Yeah,
It's Hogan in '87 when Andre tore off his crucifix. That was
right.
a big deal. It was, even though it's for the world title, but ultimately it made it personal when Andre ripped off his crucifix
And
and
I've
walked
never
away.
seen anyone kind of be like that Austin mentality where CM
Hmm.
Punk has that Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Because of his upbringing and the fact that he actually did leave wrestling. He left WWE and then went to AEW and then like 10 years later finally comes back and is relevant. And I'm sure he gets along with everybody in the backstage area in the backstage. But
Yeah.
on the story, if you want to tell a great story, here's the great story.
Hmm.
Here's the coup de grace, as they say, the zone de tetra.
It was
So
great. Right.
again, this was great storytelling. I give it 3 stars. I just would have loved to have seen, um, a little bit more from Drew because it almost did end up like the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart thing and
Yeah, they did.
Undertaker.
Again, they did
Only
reference
he
that.
didn't hit him. He's like,
Yeah,
oh,
they did
he stopped
reference that.
himself. He stopped himself.
If you're like an older fan, when that happened, it's like, I see what they did there. It's so great. It was, it was the SummerSlam '97. The younger
Yeah,
fans may like, why did that happen? Like, okay, whatever. But
right,
older fan,
right.
oh yeah, oh shit. I mean, they almost did it. But Shawn
Excuse me.
Michaels just wallop the Undertaker with that
And that
chair
was an
right in
act.
the
That
head.
was a oopsie. But
Yeah, that.
I mean, Seth
Mhm.
Rollins really stopped himself.
He
He
stopped
did. He was
himself.
going to hit Drew in the head, and they're like, and even the commentators were like, "Oh my gosh, this almost ended like a Shawn Michaels thing."
Yeah, they did
I thought,
reference it
"Oh
in
boy."
commentary too.
I hope
But yeah,
Angel heard that.
yeah, it was great. That was a great little reference in '97. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, nothing wrong. No major complaints from me. It's just 3 stars.
Mm-mm.
I'm fine with that. All right, now let's get to the next contest. Gunther defeating Damian Priest by submission, winning the world title in 16 minutes and 40 seconds. Again, I thought this match was a little longer. It felt longer. I don't know. To me, like especially towards the end, it started dragging. To me, at least.
Yeah. And it was Damian Priest. He had the upper hand for so long. So long. He had the upper hand.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, Gunther was bleeding on the chest. And that's when I messaged you. I'm like, are they slapping their legs? And I'm like, I don't think they are. Because,
No,
I mean, the chest
it
was
was.
bleeding and they were actually chopping each other.
Yeah,
I
they were
mean,
chopping
hard, hard.
the shit out of each other. Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
like, yes, yes, this is
mhm.
wrestling where you actually
because
slap them in the chest.
because Gunther wouldn't do the leg slap shit. I mean, because
Oh,
he's
really? Yeah.
basically no
He
in
has
his
that old school
matches.
mentality
Yes,
too, I
like
think.
you wouldn't do a leg slap with him because he'll probably pound you into mincemeat. I mean, he's those type of guys. It's like don't be doing that fake shit in my matches. Okay, like, you can do it.
No.
You want to do anybody else, whatever, but not in
What,
my
did you see him
matches.
go like this and then just kind of wipe it on the mat? He was
Yeah, he's
bleeding
like,
on the chest and he's like,
whatever. It was perfect. I mean, it did drag towards the end. I'm like, oh, Damian Priest is getting too much offense, especially in the middle of the match. He's like, usually that's when the heel dominates, and then the
yep.
baby face makes the big comeback and they do the finish. But whoever's supposed to win,
So
but
I give this 2.9 stars. And Gunther was good. He was great. He was selling it.
mhm.
I mean, the blood on the chest thing, I love
Yeah,
it.
it was
Um I can't wait to see what they put in his maybe a rematch, but I would love to see who they're going to put in his path now. Uh and then of course you had the dude Balor, right? His
Finn
name is
Balor.
Balor,
Towards the end of the match,
which was
Damian
his
Priest.
tag team partner, right?
Yeah,
They had
yeah,
the
they
tag
were.
team champion belts.
Yeah, at one point they were tag team champions, but I
Okay.
didn't. That's another part I didn't really like when Damian Priest hits his finish. It looks like he just pushes Gunther towards the ropes and then covers him. I'm like, why would he do that? You see that?
Yeah, I did see that, and that's why I'm giving it 2.9. Nothing against Gunther or anything. He was excellent. He did great work there. It's just a lot of the Damian Priest stuff was kind of
Yeah, it looks like he
uh,
actively just pushed him towards the ropes instead of Gunther kind of rolling
right.
away. It looked
It
bad,
was
like
it was
look.
kind of reminded me of him not kicking out. And you know what? He
Yeah,
said, "Oh, that was a personal decision. I was hurt." Well, okay, then tell someone you're hurt so the referee can do what he needs to do.
yeah,
You don't just not kick out and then make it's called kayfabe.
and fucking
You
the
should keep
story
some of that.
and fucking
You
up the
know,
story because if
yeah,
the referee would have counted the three, Gunther been a champion a month earlier than he was supposed to be.
exactly,
So you just fuck
exactly.
up the story without telling anybody you're hurt. If you tell somebody, it's like, okay, if we gotta, do an
Actually,
audible,
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Gunther has to win. We had to do an audible. Gunther has to win a month early. Whatever, we'll deal with it. But
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
instead, he was just didn't kick out.
It
It looked bad. Looked awful.
looked
But
awful.
and again, here we go again. He looks like he rolls Gunther towards the ropes for Finn Balor to put his foot on the rope and
Yep.
set up the betrayal. Which
Set
is
up the
again,
betrayal.
I suspected that would happen, which is why I said it probably was going to happen
He was
then.
2 for 2 at this point. I was just like, I'm going straight with Angel on
Yes,
this
it was
one.
ridiculous. And then Damian Priest didn't know at first. If you remember, he like, oh, how do he get his foot on the rope? And then on the big screen,
And
he
then
looked
on the big
up
screen,
and
yeah. And then
he
he's
saw
like,
Finn Balor do this, and it's like,
really?
then he turned like ominously turns around, like really dramatically turns around and looks at Finn Balor, and he goes after him, tries to grab him. Gunther gets him in the sleeper. He gets out of
Mm-hmm.
it, and immediately instead of going for Gunther, he grabs Finn Balor by the throat and completely distracted, and he gets beat, with the sleeper,
That was kind of stupid, I thought. I thought, worry about your match in the ring, and then you can go after Balor.
I didn't like
Balor.
that either. Yeah, it was more like it's like the CM Punk match, a match before. So he's worried about his bracelet instead of winning the match. So
Yep.
that I understood why. I mean, it's personal to him. But this, I mean, and I get why too. But it's 2 matches in a row they're doing this, so it's like, here we
It's
go
like
again.
distracting, and it
Yeah.
kind of defeated the purpose. But even more so with Damian Priest, because I mean, Priest hasn't been doing great work lately. Yeah, he's a babyface. Yeah, they have a documentary coming out about him, but his work has been subpar.
Yeah,
And I'm saying that out of love and respect for him, because again, you're the one who decided not to kick out because you were hurt. Okay. So again, you fubbed up and made the business, you exposed the business again as fake and fraud and fraudulent. So there's people out there that probably won't watch anymore when it comes to Damian Priest, you know?
he rolled again last night. He rolls Gunther to the ropes. It looked like it at least. Maybe Gunther was late and when rolling away, but it looks like he rolled him right to the ropes and then covered him. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is so bad.
Yeah.
I knew it was supposed to happen, but it's like, oh, it's just brutal. So
No,
yeah,
it is brutal because it literally kicks the storyline to the side and be like, well, I'm not gonna have kayfabe in any of my storylines. Well, then what's the point of believing any of your story?
so now it looks like it's gonna be Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest versus Finn Balor and Dominic and Liv, and I think they'll redo the Judgment Day with Liv Morgan in it, and the rest of them will follow Liv Morgan as the leader, which is ridiculous because she's tiny, but it's not like Rhea Ripley. She was basically a leader, but she's huge, so it
Mhm.
worked for that. But so it'd be Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest as the baby faces versus the new Judgment Day, which I
Yeah.
assume they're going to keep together because Liv Morgan is a manipulative woman, who
Mhm.
manipulates all these guys into being with her. So, including Dominic. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my suspicion. The story they're going with here the next few months that might help Damian Priest because Dominic is so hated. They'll want to see Damian Priest as kill Dominic and Finn Balor. So,
Right.
it either get him over as a babyface, maybe forget about his title run, which towards the end it wasn't good. So
No. Nope.
and then he'll be over. He'll get world title matches again later. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I think Gunther and Damian Priest will have one more match in Germany for the world title. Their rematch. The Judgment Day will come out and cost him the belt, and Damian Priest will move on to that feud full time, and then Gunther will do something else. And you
Mhm.
ask me who? I don't have a clue. I mean, honestly, I don't have a clue who they're going to elevate right now as a baby face to face Gunther on Raw. I mean, I can't
Maybe
think of anybody.
Sami Zayn, because he had the belt, but I would think that he would want some kind of rematch with Braun, and they're gonna kind of milk that for a little bit.
Yeah, so I can't think of any baby. No, I guarantee you. At this thought of this, they're gonna put Jey Uso in the first match with Gunther.
Mhm.
That's what they did with Damian Priest. I mean, and Jey Uso isn't good. I mean, he's a personality. It's like kind of like L.A. Knight, but worse. He just isn't good in the ring.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like he's
I'm with
he's a
you.
personality, but he's a baby face and he's over. So it's like they're gonna stick Jey Uso in the first match with Gunther, and
But
then
he
Gunther
doesn't
will
do
beat
good work.
him.
And that could piss off Gunther to make him want to do good work.
Yeah, yeah,
Kind
it'd
of
be
like with Damian
interesting.
Priest. I think that Gunther was trying to push him in that direction, and I think just Priest wasn't in for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that modern wrestling stuff that
Because
actually
there was
Jey
no
Uso does.
right, and there was no excuse for what Damian Priest did there. I mean, you're making it obvious and you're killing the story you're trying to tell. By doing
Ye-
little botch ups, you're doing little botches, and that just it defeats. I mean, it's like, why should anyone cheer for you when you're just going to botch something?
Yeah, just it's not looking good. He needs the storyline with the Judgment Day to go well, so people forget about his last couple months as
Yeah,
world champion.
the fact that he
So
botched a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, that was brutal. I don't know what was worse, the not kicking out or pushing Gunther towards the ropes to set up Finn Balor turning on him, but it was bad either way. So I'm not sure
Hmm.
which one's worse right now, but all right, and the main event in an exhausting 29 minutes and 10 seconds, Cody Rhodes defeated Solo Sikoa by pinfall in a Bloodline Rules match, which is no disqualification.
I loved
Uh,
the match except for the fact that they milked it. Okay, they were milking it and Cody was kicking out of everything. It's like, what could this bloodline do to him that would actually get him to keep his, shoulders
it
on the mat?
was
And then, they really milked it for Roman. They had
um,
excuse me. They had, of course, they had the bloodline come out and they were attacking him, and then Owens came back. The
mhm.
Viper came back, Randy Orton. Great storytelling there, nothing wrong with that. But at the end, again, they used the table, and this was the Wolverine. Is that what they're calling him? Or no, the
The
werewolf,
werewolf,
werewolf.
Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu. Don't go through the table. We've seen enough of the announce table, okay, guys? Let's do another angle. Do anything else other than going through that damn announcers table, because that's what they did in the 90s. Every time, every single week, they would go through that damn announce table, and then Jacob Fatu ended up hurting himself anyway.
Yeah. I don't know whether the injury is legitimate because I haven't been reading X because I've been busy all day. So I don't know if it's legitimate or it was some kind of storyline excuse for why Jacob Fatu didn't do anything to Roman Reigns at the end because they want to save that for later. That
Could
when
be.
they finally touch, hit each other, but they didn't want to do it tonight last night. So I'm hoping he's okay, and that's just a storyline injury, just to, for him not to touch Roman. So yeah, actually, to be fair, the first 15 minutes was like a
It
regular
was
wrestling match,
awesome. I
and I
love
was
the
like,
fact that he had the poppers. He had the poppers. I love the
uh
poppers.
huh, yeah, I was like,
His dog is adorable. Oh my god, a
that
beautiful,
dog.
beautiful white dog.
Oh, we
Mm.
forget the entrance. Jacob Solo comes out. He does his entrance. For the next 10 minutes, here comes Cody Rhodes with the melodrama. So the dog first, which is fine. Then you see Arn Anderson there, who was his manager in
Yeah,
AEW, which is why they
yeah. I
made
thought, and
reference to
I
that.
messaged you, and I'm like, wait, Arn Anderson. I thought he was still in AEW, and you're like, oh no, his contract was up. I'm
His
like,
contract was up,
it
so
was.
he was able to appear in WWE last night. But they
Yeah, I
made
was like
reference to
Arn
that.
Anderson.
They made reference to their time in AEW, and and don't worry, I called some friends, so you're not going to be alone. Okay, so go
Right.
out there, do what you need to do, blah blah blah, and then they hug and he walks away, and that's when Cody got his jacket and he got his mask from turns out to be Brandy Rhodes' mother, his mother-in-law.
Yeah, I thought that was Sapphire's daughter because
Yeah,
I mean Dusty and Sapphire, and she passed in 1996. That's why I was
yeah,
like, was that Sapphire's daughter? You're like, wait, hang on a second, and then you found it was
yeah,
Brandy's mother. So that's fine. She looked like Sapphire. That's why I was like, holy cow! I was
yeah. I
like,
was like,
is that the
I
daughter of Sapphire?
I didn't have an issue with it. The only thing is it just went too long. Made
They
Solo look
milked
like
it. Yeah,
it made Solo like kind of look ridiculous. He's standing there forever, just waiting for Cody, not doing anything, not going back there and attacking him or something. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It made him look silly to me. I didn't. I get it. It's like this is what Cody does and his melodrama. Constantly. So, oh my God, here's my wife. Here's my mother-in-law. Here's Arn Anderson, my former manager from AEW. Here's this
Mhm.
guy. Let me hug everybody before I go to the ring and have my match and blah 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 blah. So, it took too long, and then the entrance takes forever because the entrance ramp is this big. It's a football stadium, so
Right, right.
the entrance is like it took 15 minutes before Cody got to the ring. It was like, okay.
I didn't even
Because,
notice because I was kind of like, at this point, I was just kind of like, all right, let's just get on with it, boys.
but they
I,
milked the hell out of that. I mean, not
yeah,
the
and I
first
was paying more
15.
attention. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I mean, the first 15, 20 minutes of regular wrestling match. Because I'm used to
Mhm.
watching modern wrestling, AEW in particular. No disqualification match. Let's go outside in the first minute, grab chairs, grab furniture, set up furniture,
Lazy booking.
chair, blah, 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 blah. That's what I thought they were going to do. But, like, oh, normal wrestling match for the first 15,
Yeah,
20
there
minutes. I'm
was
like,
some
okay,
wrestling holds,
I'm fine
wrestling
with that.
moves.
Mm,
Cody was doing some arm bars there.
mm,
Some uh, what else did he did something else, and I was like, oh my god, it's a wrestling hold. Um,
yeah.
again, and someone had mentioned, one of the announcers had mentioned, I think it was Pat McAfee, said, he knows all the moves. Well, of course, his dad knew all the moves too. He's second generation, for crying out loud, guys. And I hate to do
They,
this because I do love Cody, because I loved Dusty. I loved
yeah.
Dusty. I really like Dusty. Um, I give it 2.5 stars. I'm sorry. They milked it out there at the end. It was kind of like, well, come on, Roman. If you're going to come out, you might as well come out now.
Yeah,
And oh, he kicked out again. I'm like,
it was if at that point in the match, it felt like John Cena in 2014. He's Super Cena. He kicks out of everything, never gets
yep.
beat, and John Cena at one point beat 3 dudes by himself. Like like it was ridiculous. It was 10 years ago. Vince was booking. It was ridiculous. But he's
Mm-hmm.
Super Cena. I used to joke around calling him Super Cena. I was like, oh, it's Super Cody. He just gets out of everything for no reason.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of that. Did you see Tongaloa botching that move to Cody? He was supposed to grab him and put him into a turnbuckle. Instead, he put him into the ropes. I'm like, oh, dude.
I did see that, but I thought that was just right. That was a bot?
Yeah, it had to be. Because
Okay.
he's supposed to, grab him and like throw him into the turnbuckle, like in that move. Instead, he threw him into the ropes. I'm like, this is the same guy who watched the low blow last month.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I'm just
Tongaloa.
like,
Yeah, it's the
oh,
same
that was
guy.
not good.
So I'm like, oh, dude.
Another reason why it only got 2.5 stars, And like I said, they milked it for everything they could. And then finally, whose music hits? Ta-da! It's Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns comes back
At like
to
27 minutes into the match. I mean, they milked
yes.
this thing forever.
They milked this thing to death. I mean, I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, well, come on. And then I messaged you. I said, well, if Roman's going to show up, he better show up now.
It's like they're twiddling. It's like they're twisting in the wind towards the end because there's nothing
Yeah,
else
it's
to
like
do.
Cody was, blowing in the wind here,
Yeah, he's twisted. They left the way it was booked. I mean, they left Cody in the wind for like 4 or 5 minutes. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Randy, Kevin Owens, and the two brothers, they fight off.
Right.
Which I don't like either. It's like they fight off. Where do they go? They're just gone. It's like, yeah, they're just gone.
They're just gone. And
Another
then that's when
modern
Jacob
wrestling thing.
Fatu comes out.
Yeah.
Well, we need someone to take out Jacob Fatu because it's no longer a fair fight. And then, who's going to come out? And then this is when they're milking and Cody kicks out everything.
Yeah, he takes himself out when he hurt his ankle. So you don't see him again after that. So
no, you don't see him until he's like consoling Solo.
Yeah, and Solo's like screaming like,
I was like, oh, get over it.
So
2.5 stars, not too bad, but again, the milking, I don't think they should have had Roman Reigns come out. But when Jacob Fatu did his thing, okay, now it's time for Roman Reigns, boys, and it's time to end this.
Yeah, because he was the one. He was the one that's going to end that match. I mean, it wasn't anybody else. So finally, they're both down. They're both selling. I thought there would be some sort of ref bump. There wasn't, which is good because I don't like ref bumps. Especially when they do it 2 or 3 times a match. It's like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
They do it in AEW all the time. Multiple ref bumps in the same match. Like, but yeah, they're both down and selling. And oh my God, I had a Bluetooth speaker. So it was really loud. So when his music played, I haven't heard a pop that big in years, maybe since Steve Austin. I mean, it's incredible the pop, babyface pop he got, and it's like here.
And they hated Roman. They hated him when he turned babyface the first time. They hated him. They told him to go home.
But because they perceived him as being Vince's boy, and everybody hated Vince.
Okay.
Because Vince was the one who was like pushing him to the moon. Okay. He was main eventing WrestleManias within like a year and a half or 2 years after his debut with the Shield. And so it was obvious that he was Vince's boy, and Vince was, pushing him. You put the rocket to his ass and made him into a top guy. Did I think he was a top guy? Yes. He look at him. He's $1 million, but it was way too soon. Like he needed some tribulation, some trials. To be fair, Brock did beat him up for the first 2 or 3 matches they had together. You can never beat Brock, so it was kind of, he did have some tribulations, but fans still hated him. He was Vince's boy.
Oh my God, they were telling him to go home.
They put in the Royal Rumble 2015. He won. They put The Rock with him just to give him that rub, and they still booed him out of the building. They still booed him out of the building with The Rock there. Rock
wasn't pissed off at him. They were pissed off he was pissed off at the fans. Oh, well, you should accept him. No, Rock, that's not how this goes.
Rocky
You
was
have
like,
to pay
mhm,
your dues in
mhm.
wrestling. It's called paying your dues.
Yeah. So that whole thing happened. Then the pandemic happens, and all of a sudden, here comes heel Roman Reigns. I'm like, yes, this is what he needed to be for
Mm-hmm.
years. I said it back then, long before I had this show. It was like he needs to be a heel. Then once he's a heel and gets over like that, then you can turn him and he'll explode. Exactly what happened. Like it
And you
took, yeah,
go ahead.
exactly what happened. It was like, oh my, that was incredible pop. And
It
then
took Jey Uso to become the big baby face and say, "Well, I'm the big dog now," and nobody, well, everyone
mhm.
like Jacob Fatu and them, they all accepted him, yes, but if Paul Heyman don't, sorry, ain't gonna work, Bubba.
Yeah, when they attacked Paul Heyman, I was like, okay, now we're definitely going to see Roman Reigns soon
Yeah, because that
because
was Roman Reigns' boy right there.
yeah, they were. That was his wise man.
Yep.
That was his guy. Whenever so yeah, all of a sudden they attack him. It's like yeah, this is going to lead to Roman coming back sooner rather than later. So they do the whole deal. He comes out. He ominously stands there and just stares a hole into Solo. Brilliantly done, by the way. Then he runs into the ring, Superman punch. Fans explode for that. It's like, and then he stands there. He does his deal, ooh ah deal. Which was the loudest ever. Whoa, that was loud.
Yeah. They were
Spears
happy to
him.
see him,
Yeah.
and I think now that they have seen what has gone on, he let, Cody finish the story.
hmm
Now they want him back more than ever, and they
Yeah.
don't like Solo at
In the
all.
last after Roman left, and then you could see this building. Once Solo became tribal chief and he was the leader of his bloodline,
We
and
want
yeah,
Roman.
you could see it building in the arenas over the weeks
Yep.
organically because it wasn't encouraged by the company. I don't think it didn't seem like it.
Right.
Organically, it's like okay, now I know where this is going because Triple H has to see it. It's like okay, he's a baby face. He's not a heel. We can't bring him back. And then his T-shirt said OTC, which I
Right.
took as
Original tribal
original tribal
chief.
chief. Yeah, so
Mhm.
which is like okay, they're definitely selling gimmicks now. They're definitely putting. I don't
Yeah.
mind. I mean, it's good, but
No, no. Roman Reigns gets all the props he needs. He's now over and accepted by the fans who literally wanted him to go away so that they could miss him. And that's
Mhm.
when, Solo made himself the tribal chief and everyone accepted him except for Paul Heyman. And that's when,
Yeah.
we want Roman chance. It took, and like Jim Cornette would say, it took Roman Reigns going away for them to miss you. How can we miss you if you don't go away? Well,
Yep.
now that Roman's back, now everyone accepts him, and he is definitely over.
He's an
The stare
Uber.
down between him and Cody,
hmm
electric. Okay.
But he
Uh,
did like nod at him, like there's mutual respect there. I
yeah,
mean, him,
mutual respect
him,
there.
they're not friends. They're definitely not friends, but
No.
there's mutual respect. So I like that because I remember when Vince was booking, like when somebody turned babyface, they would instantly become friends. With everybody like, oh, nothing ever happened in the past. It doesn't matter. It's like, no, here at least, like there's mutual respect, but we don't
Right.
like each other. I want a rematch at some point for my world title. So
Right.
perfectly done, by the way. So that was SummerSlam. Great, fantastic. The what I'm guessing is going to happen is Roman's going to get his rematch in Germany later this month, the end of the month, and the Bloodline's going to cost him in a disqualification, and then we'll get the Bloodline Civil War story that
Yes.
they've been
Yes.
wanting to
Yes.
tell for a couple of years now.
And I want to see that too, because I just think Solo proclaiming himself to be the tribal chief when Roman just needed some time away from wrestling. And Roman had time, he had time with his family. Also his dad had passed. I think that also
Yeah,
helped with him staying away for so long.
yeah,
Which was unexpected, but unfortunately that's just what happened is his dad
hmm
passed away. So, and you could see the look on his face like I'm wondering if he's thinking about his dad right now, like,
yeah,
that just crossed over my mind when he was staring kinda in the ring and at Solo, and then I
hmm
was like, for some reason, I was like, "I wonder if he really misses his dad, because
It
I know
seems
him
like
and his dad were very, very close, and they were, a very close family. So, I think that also contributed to, otherwise, I think Roman Reigns woulda came back much sooner, but I think that, because of his dad passing, that also kept him away.
Yeah, and they wanted to milk it again. WWE loves to milk
Oh,
everything.
they love to
They
milk their
milked
storylines.
they milked Roman Reigns coming back for 3 or 4 months because
Hmm.
we want Roman chance started organically like 3 or 4 months ago. So they milked the shit out of it until when the explosion. They maybe it took too long, maybe it didn't, but I didn't. If they would have saved it for Germany, that's too long. I mean that they needed to bring him back sooner.
I
So
agree. Yep.
yeah, that was, and then Cody, for I don't know why he did this, but he picks up Solo, hits Crossroads, and then pinned him after the spear. I'm like, just pin him.
Just pin him. Yeah.
The match was over at that point.
Again, he has the Crossroads and then the Cody Spike or whatever the spike is
Cody
that he
Cutter,
has.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the Cody
RKO he
Cutter,
does.
which is kind of like the it's like the Diamond Cutter, but like a new edge
Yeah,
on it or
it's like
whatever.
a jumping version of it. But
Right.
I don't know why he just didn't cover him. It's like, okay, I mean, it's you know, Roman speared him. He's not going to kick out a Roman spear. I mean, so just pin him, and I guess he wanted to beat him with his finish. I mean, unless Cody politic for that, I don't know how much of a politician he is backstage, but
But I mean, these guys have 3 and 4 finishers, and then everybody kicks out everything. So it's like, why even have a finisher in the first place?
yeah,
I can't. I can't say anything because I liked how that ended, and then him and Roman, have that mutual respect.
yeah, another
And
stare
then
down.
Roman nods to him. Um, I I kind of like the finish, but yeah, I questioned the why did he do the he didn't have to do that. All he had to do was cover him because there's no way Solo was going to get out of that unless for some
Yeah,
reason he kicked out on purpose and they wanted to keep milking that. But I don't
I don't
know.
think they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't bury Roman's finish by having him kick out.
Right.
So that wouldn't happen because even though Roman is a giving, he's a giving top guy. I mean, he's taking offense from nearly everybody. Unlike Hogan, he never sells anything, but he's taking offense nearly everybody he's worked with. So he's giving, but I don't think he's that giving that he's. Oh yes, you can kick out of my finish, Solo. And my big return too. In my big return after 6 months, you can kick out of my
Like
finish.
I said, I can
That's not
count
gonna
on my
happen.
hands how many times or like I don't know one hand. I think oh yeah, I can count on one hand how many times people kicked out of the perfect plex and how many people kicked out of the perfect plex.
Yeah, it's like
One finisher and that's it and barely anybody kicked out of it. And I think I was messaging you about that last night. I was like, why do they have finishers in the first place when they have multiple finishers
and it
and
happens.
everybody kicks out of everything?
Yeah. And it happens in nearly every single match now, especially on pay-per-views or
Yep.
PLEs, whatever they call them now. They
If I could
they
just
they
say
do.
one thing about Damian
Yeah.
Priest real quick,
Yeah.
because I had said this to my man in passing. I actually said because he's going to do the Razor's Edge. I went, I hope he asked Scott Hall if he could use that. It's kind of like Kevin Owens. He does the stunner. I'm like, I hope he could ask someone if he could use that.
Well, he
And my
did
man's
add
like,
it.
they don't ask.
Yeah, but it's like a political thing. You have to ask the previous person who used the finish, or else then you can get heat, especially if it's a legend. So it's a
And that's why
political
I was
thing.
kind of like, well, I hope that when Scott Hall was alive, I mean, unless Damian Priest has an Ouija board and he's going to talk to Scott Hall and
He
ask
might
him
have.
now.
Scott Hall was around when Damian Priest first started, before he
Okay.
passed, so he might have asked him. So again, I'm
I
not
hope
100
so
percent
because,
sure on that,
like I
but
said, the only way you're going to ask Scott Hall now is with a Ouija board.
yeah. So yeah, so that was SummerSlam.
It was awesome, guys. Like I said, let's see if you count up all. I mean, it had okay stars. Okay,
Uh-huh.
it was okay, but some of the matches kind of were like they didn't need to be there.
I didn't pay
But
attention
overall, I think
to.
this was an awesome,
uh,
awesome pay per view. In fact, I went back to SummerSlam '89 and started
Man,
watching that, and I'm just like, oh man, no one could be 89. I mean, or 90 or 91. And a lot of people were referencing, in fact, I have it on my X.
hmm
People were referencing the greatest match in SummerSlam was the Kurt Hennig and Bret Hart match. So the Mr.
yeah,
Perfect versus the Hitman. Yes, and like I said, on X, knowing what we know now about Kurt's back being messed up, it's kind of
Yeah,
hard for people like me who are Kurt Hennig fans to actually watch that match, knowing that his back was messed
yeah,
up.
it was
But he
brutal.
still gave Bret Hart and those fans
He
150%, and it was a great match.
that I love that match because it first of all it made Bret Hart into a star. I mean, it made him into
Kurt loved that. Kurt was
a
his friend.
credible. He was a credible guy because at that point he was just seen as a tag team guy with
Right, with
him to
Jim.
handle
Yep.
Neidhart.
Yep.
So he's just a tag team guy. So Kurt came out and put on a incredible performance, made Bret Hart that night. Made he didn't have to. They were like,
No.
"Oh, just give up the belt, because you're obviously you can't work, so just give up the belt." And he's like, "Oh no, I'm working with Bret. I'm definitely going to be there." It's like, "Oh, I mean that's that's
And I have
fantastic."
and when I do Uncensored, which I'm going to be doing soon on my other show, Kurt Hennig was the best. Where I'm going to share some audio from Bret that he
Yeah,
actually did. He said because he feared that Kurt wasn't going to show up because I mean Kurt really legitly hurt his back
yeah,
and was at home. He wasn't wrestling. He wasn't really. I mean, he was working out, I guess, to a point, but I mean, his back was really messed up. And Bret said he called Kurt, and Kurt's like, "No, I'm gonna be there, Bret. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you a good match, and I'm gonna do this for you." Because
and
they
he
were
did.
friends, they were
Mm,
good friends, and I'm sure that Bret would have done the same thing for Kurt if it was the other way around.
yeah,
That is the mutual respect that people had back then. But then Kurt and Bret also hung out a lot. So, they were close friends. Look what Rude did with when Bret got screwed. I mean, he
well,
went right
yeah,
back to WCW, said, "Screw
and he
you,
walked
Vince."
out.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of mutual respect between Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig, and Bret Hart.
Yeah,
And it's very sweet to see that because, again, uh, you know, Bret would have done the same thing for Kurt, and Kurt did the exact same thing for Bret.
yeah. So yeah, I didn't like. Okay, so there were a couple matches which going to take place on Raw tomorrow night, which I thought should have taken place at the pay per view, but they're sticking the Wyatt's debut on Raw in the 6-man tag with Chad Gable and his two Stooges. I forget their
Yeah,
name
why
right
did
now,
they
but
leave that off? And I guess maybe Triple H thought it wasn't, pay-per-view material, I guess.
it's the first match of the Wyatts. I thought that's something you would probably put on the PLE instead of on Raw, but and it gives these guys a payday, bigger payday. But I don't know. I mean, I would have put that match on the pay per view at the very least on the pre show because you
No,
see that pre show like 3 hours. They started at 4.
oh my god, yeah, I was like,
I
"Wait,
didn't
what?"
watch it.
And
I
that's
didn't
when I
watch
came
most of
on
it,
X
but
and I was like, I asked you, I'm like, because I didn't see, I'm like, I'm scrolling through, I don't see with a start time. I don't want to watch no damn pre-show.
yeah, I didn't watch the pre
It's like
show either.
football
So
now. It's like they all have like 2 hour, 3 hour pre-shows. I'm
yeah,
like, I don't want to watch a damn pre-show.
yeah, it's just if you've watched all the shows or most of the shows, you know what's going on. You don't really need to watch a pre show. So yeah, I didn't. I was like, put it on the pre show. Put
And
it.
what they had
Give
2, 3
us.
hours of the pay-per-view, and then they have what, like a 2 hours of an after show too. So it's like, oh
Yeah,
my
they
god.
had a after that they had a press conference for that hour. So I ended around 11. I think they started wrapping up around midnight when they finally said goodnight, for good,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So like
As soon
yeah, I
as
didn't watch it either, but
it was done, I was like, I turned on
yeah.
SummerSlam '89. I mean, I love '89 because I love the Kurt Hennig versus well, it was Mr. Perfect versus the Red Rooster. That's a great match, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But anyway, I liked SummerSlam. It was good for what it was good for. Um, I just want to see a little bit more tweaking and improvements there with the other matches that I really didn't like and didn't care about.
So
But other than that, it was great. And like I said, I saw a lot of people say, this isn't as great as 91, SummerSlam 91 with the Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart match.
n-
And I don't think anything is going to stand up to that
no, I don't
because, you know, they were both great superstars. They were both second generation superstars. And Braun Breaker, again, I'm sure if Kurt were in attendance there watching Braun get the belt, oh, he would have been ecstatic for Braun.
yeah.
I wish that they had done that for Joe. I mean, they did give Joe the belt, but it wasn't as
Yeah.
like much of a storyline. Oh, well, of course, Curtis Axel would get the belt. Ha ha, whoopee. No, you
Yeah,
build up to it. You make it like
it,
that. Oh my God, Kurt Hennig's son is gonna, take the belt. It's gonna be awesome. That kind of thing.
it was a throwaway. Like
Yeah.
it felt like Vince was just trying. Okay, let me try to do something with Curtis Axel, but throw the Intercontinental on him, give him Paul Heyman. Maybe he'll get him over. He gave up on it after a few weeks, and Paul was gone, and he dropped the title. He never did anything of significance after that. But we forgot to mention the Jelly Roll part of the show.
Oh God.
That
I didn't know
halfway
Jelly
part,
Roll was a wrestler. It kind of reminds me. I didn't even know he was a country singer. I thought he was just
yeah,
like a rock singer or something. But
he's a
apparently he's a country
country
singer,
and
um,
rapper. Yeah, so
slash
yeah,
rapper. I'm like, you can't
yeah,
combine the two.
yeah. So they did a deal where he came out with the Miz, who was the host of the show, and they're talking, and then here comes who was it? Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, a
Is
couple
that
of
who those two were?
jabronis.
I'm like, who's the jean jacket guy or the shirt guy, and who's the Hawaiian shirt dude? And you're
Yeah,
like, oh, it's blah
they
blah blah. I'm like,
Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Just a couple of jabronis for Jelly Roll to beat up, which is ridiculous, but that's
well,
what
and
they
here's
did. They wanted Jelly Roll to do something, so
Well,
on the
here's
show.
the kicker. He's not the only country singer. Well, he is in WWE, but it's too bad because they had mentioned, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Of course, there was
Yeah, in
no country
Cleveland.
there, but I mean,
Yeah,
um, but they could have mentioned if it was in WWE, they could have mentioned the West Texas Rednecks and the Chad Brock feud because Chad Brock, and not a lot of people know this, Chad Brock was a wrestler before he was
yeah,
a country singer. So like Jelly Roll was a wrestler before he was a country singer. Now Chad Brock had a career-ending injury in wrestling and then moved on to country music.
yeah,
So again, they're kind of doing that kind of a thing that Kurt Hennig
yeah.
did
Because it,
back in WCW.
I noticed when he used the chair on both Theory and the other guy, Grayson Waller, he looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
So it was like, oh wow. I mean,
I
either they
saw that
taught
on
him
X. I'm
there.
sorry. Yeah, someone showed a picture of Jelly Roll before he was a singer. And I was just
So
like,
he
"Oh
did.
shit, it's like the Chad Brock thing where Chad Brock
I
was
didn't
a
know he's a
WCW wrestler." Yeah.
because he knew it looked like he knew what he's doing, and I was like,
Mhm.
wait, did he either they taught him before the show or he wrestled in
No,
the
he was a
past? So
wrestler.
because he looked
Yep.
good using the chair, like oh well, he looked like he's a worker there because the way he used it was like oh, and then the choke slam he did to Austin Theory, it was like oh, okay, well Austin jumped up 15 feet in the air. It seemed like
And the black guy, what was the black guy's
our
name?
truth.
R-Truth,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was there too. I forgot to mention.
No, that's okay. He's supposed to be like the comedic relief, I think.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
I was like, well, I just don't find him funny, but okay.
Comedic.
Uh,
Everybody loves our truth. I mean, backstage and even a lot of the
I guess
audience
he can get
because
people to break character.
yeah, and that's why he got. You know who he got to break character? This is like 8 years ago. He got Brock to break character. Brock
Brock,
Lesnar.
didn't he get John Cena to do it too? I think he didn't. No, Booker T got Brock. No, was it not Brock? Someone broke character with Booker T. It was because he goes
Vince.
King Booker, just so
Uh,
over dramatic
oh
and
no.
stuff.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm thinking of Booker T when he got Vince to break character because he was running from Steve Austin. It's like 2001. He was
Right,
hiding
and he
from
was
Steve Austin.
in
So
the
he's talking to
grocery
Vince on
store,
the
and Vince is
phone.
just like, "What?"
Yeah, he's talking to Vince on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, I'm here. He'll never find me here. I'm at church. Like
At
church."
church.
He's like, "Yeah, church. I'm gonna play bingo with the older people." And yeah, I can't say it the way he did, but Vince just broke and started just laughing on air. Broke character. It's like, oh, he got him. He got Vince. Like,
Oh, yeah, he got him. Oh, R-Truth made a lot of people break. I mean,
yeah, he got Brock to break. Yeah, evil mustaches here,
did
but
someone say comic relief?
yeah. So yeah, our truth was out in the ring with Brock, and he was saying ridiculous things. He got Brock to break. Nobody gets Brock to break. He was laughing his ass off, and
I
he's a
think
heel. Then he was a big.
I
He's a
think
big heel.
Brock
Then
got Undertaker to break once. And
he might
Undertaker
have.
never broke. And I mean,
No,
he did that one time for the People's Elbow, but that was the People's Elbow was to make the
yeah, to
Undertaker
try to get
break
him to
character
break.
and start laughing.
Yeah,
That's why that was created.
and it got over, and the Rock kept using it. But yeah, that
Kept
was the
using
reason why
it.
they did it. He did it to try to make Undertaker laugh. They're doing a tag team match, and the church sends me their leftovers. I'm sure they do. But
Ah, jeez.
yeah, I mean
It was cute for what it was, but again, it kind of reminded me of the Chad Brock thing. Only Chad Brock didn't have a match with Kurt. Kurt just kind of came out while Brock was singing, and
hmm
not Brock Lesnar, Chad Brock.
yeah,
He came out while Chad was singing, and it was kind of like a jealousy kind of thing. Kurt was jealous of Chad
yeah,
Brock or something. But I mean, it kind of reminded me of that, especially on X when I saw the picture of Jelly Roll, but when he was a wrestler. So I was like, oh, it's kind of like the Chad Brock thing when Chad Brock was a wrestler back in like 96 and then had a career ending injury. And then that's when they made the West Texas, sorry, West Texas Rednecks, and they had that angle. Well, they thought, oh, let's bring in Chad Brock because he's up and coming country music singer, and he was. He had
yeah,
one hit called "She Said Yes," and I think it was number one. I'm not really sure, but I do know
yeah.
that he had another one come out, and it was a song I actually like. It's called "Thunder Does the Work," or "Lightning Does the Work." Lightning does the work. Um, a great song, but I think and they won't show that angle. They won't show that confrontation
hmm
between him and Kurt when he was on stage. They cut that out. I don't know why. But I think
I
it was
don't
a good
know.
angle, but it just reminded me of that the Chad Brock thing.
Yeah, so that was okay. Was there some? Oh, the creepy Manscaped commercial with Otis,
Oh
that big
my
fat
god.
guy.
I messaged you. I'm like, that was really
Yeah,
creepy, dude.
yeah.
What
I
the
don't.
fuck?
Yeah, that was like that's another thing I forgot to mention. In the middle of the show,
Ah!
they
He's just
went they
like
were
he's like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "Okay, I'm
yeah
not watching this. I'm gonna
that
go to
was
the bathroom
creepy.
or
That was
something."
weird. Yeah, that was awful. And there's
I
something.
can't wait to hear what Cornette says about it.
Yeah, if they
God, it was
mention, I'm sure they'll
creepy.
mention it because they're
He's
watching.
like, "I'll never do that shit again."
Yeah, that was bad. I mean, I think they were I'm assuming like okay, we got to promote Manscaped. They're paying us. Okay, let's do a
Right, I
ridiculous
get that part,
commercial.
but I mean, that was
Yeah,
just creepy as shit.
yeah.
If I saw my man just randomly doing that, I'd be like, we're breaking up." You wanna
Yeah.
make love to a fucking, razor? What the fuck?
So yeah, they had every match had a sponsor, which people are like, "Oh, this is so terrible," or or at one point they put the rings. Now they're putting like other sponsors in the ring too in the canvas, and like, okay, look, if that's what it takes for pay per view, would be $10 or $5, whatever you want, whatever package you
Right.
have. I'm fine with it. It's like I mean, it's like, oh, this match is sponsored by Wheatley Vodka. Go, this match is sponsored by
Well, did you see
Slim
that
Jim.
American vodka? I'm like, "Wait, it can't be American vodka because vodka came from Russia."
I think that's a sponsor that Cody Rhodes had. Because his
Okay.
match was sponsored by that vodka. So, and he has it on
Okay.
his bus too, on his tour bus. So, I think that's the sponsor he got. I don't know how that works
Okay.
exactly, but
I was
is that
confused. I'm like, "Wait, vodka comes from Russia, so how is it American vodka?"
I'm sure you do, Vince. I'm sure you do.
I got cameras covering all angles. I'm
My,
sorry, I didn't see that. What did it
oh,
say?
I got cameras covering all angles of my
My
office.
office. Are you talking about the Manscaped? You gotta
No,
touch yourself
Rob.
with the razor. Oh my god. I'm sitting there going, what the hell is that?
hmm
Getting turned on by a freaking razor. I don't think your woman's gonna get turned on by you shaving your stomach. Okay, dude.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm
Oh
like,
god.
why did they feel the need to do this? I mean, why did they feel the need to do that? I mean, they could have done the ad in a
Anything
million other
else.
ways.
Anything else. And I was like, okay, I'm creeped out. Even me, a
Yeah,
chick, I'm like creeped out.
uh I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's weird. But yeah, I think Jelly Roll performed again at the beginning, and then he showed up
Yeah.
later, beat up the two wrestlers, and I think that's all. I mean, there's
I
nothing
didn't
else I
know he
really
was
missed.
they said a country singer, and I went, really? He's a country singer. And you wonder
Yeah,
why I don't like any new country because he's a country slash rapper. You
Yeah.
can't combine the two. Either you had rap or you had country. You can't combine the two. It doesn't sound right. Um, and like I told you, I only like one song, and it's probably going to be my wedding song when I do decide to tie the knot with my man. It's called
Uh-huh.
"Take My Name." I don't remember who sings it though.
Hmm.
Sorry. It's
Manscaping
called
is
"Take My
just a
Name" though.
hobby. Seth knows.
Come on. Ah, come on. I need that image in my head. Jesus Christ.
I yeah, that was SummerSlam. Tomorrow night on Raw, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
I am going to, okay, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to watch Raw. I know. I
Come,
know. I can't believe I
come,
just said those words.
yeah,
I
they
hope I didn't
gotta.
knock you off your chair.
No, no, no. I have to adjust.
You're like,
but
wow, she's going to watch another one?
but yeah, I mean, Raw is tomorrow night. They're gonna build towards Germany now. Which, oh, by the way, it starts at 1 o'clock, so we'll be able to do the show that day. Even that's my
Okay.
birthday, so it depends of what's going on. Whether there's some
I'll
plans
be
for me,
right
I don't
back.
know about. Uh-huh. I don't know whether there's some plans for me somebody has because surprising and stuff. So, but as of
Well,
now, I expect to do the show on my birthday, which is the 31st, which is a
that's
Saturday
fine.
night. So,
Maybe we could
so
get Kit or somebody special on to, um, help celebrate your birthday.
yeah, that'd be nice. We'll figure that out. But
We're still trying to
yeah,
get Sabby to come on. We're still trying to get. I talked. Nick was on. Not Angel Show. Sorry.
I haven't had Nick on my show yet. I would like to, but I
Nick
haven't
was
had an
on
opportunity to.
Kit's show, and I sent a super chat,
Uh
and
huh.
he's like, "I saw your stuff, Mrs. Witchy. I definitely will be on your show."
Okay.
He's just a little busy, so hopefully I
Yeah, I
can talk to
understand
him
that. That's
again.
why. Yeah, that's why I haven't really asked, and we kind of asked, but then it's like, okay, let's just leave it alone. Eventually, we'll get him on. We'll try to get him on, but okay,
But I
well,
mean, I if I could just mention this real quick, the
yeah, we
bash
can.
in Berlin, surprisingly, it's not bash at the beach. You notice how it's like a play on words there,
Yeah,
but I mean
it's a
they do
play
own
on.
WCW because they're having the Great
Yeah,
American Bash for NXT.
yeah, they're
See, there you
having.
go, the Great American
Hmm.
Bash, right?
Yeah,
Which is
they're
actually in June,
yeah. So that show
not
starts at one
August.
o'clock Eastern. So be over by 4. We should be able to do the show at 7 if there's or 8 if there's nothing else going
That's
on.
why I thought we were at on 8 today. I'm like, oh no, I
And
thought we
then
were
on
going to be
top
on
of
8 o'clock today.
yeah, oh well, then on top of that, I muted my mic for 15 minutes, and then I couldn't
Well,
get
you can
on
just cut
because
that out. I'll just cut that out. You can cut that out too if you want
okay,
to.
yeah,
If
I
if
mean,
you edit, I don't know if you edit or anything.
yeah, I'll probably either cut it out or put it in the comments. Hey, just skip 15 minutes, so that it's just completely mute.
Skip the first
So
15 because I actually didn't
uh,
have my god.
no, it wasn't on. So I was like, oh
And
shit.
Mrs.
Well,
Witchy thought it was at 8 o'clock.
yeah, so it didn't go well, but we recovered and we put together a show. Unfortunately, there's no Rumble exclusive because it's almost 9 and I do have to go. But
Well, if you just want to mention real quick about the Shane McMahon thing,
oh yeah,
I
yeah, no, I
I think
forgot
that's
about that.
false. I don't think that. I think the picture is false. I think it was photoshopped because a lot of
It
people
could
are
have.
like, "What would Shane McMahon have to say to Tony Khan anyway?" Other than
I
maybe
don't.
they buy him
I,
out.
yeah, my theory it's either Shane wants to buy it out or he's using it as leverage to get back to WWE because he wants to get back in WWE, but they don't want him back as of now at least.
I really couldn't say.
Oh,
See, she can't say either.
yeah, so that's
That was
it's all,
perfect timing.
yeah, that was perfect timing. The Siri just popped up. I didn't ask her anything again, but yeah, I mean, I don't know Shane. I think he's trying to get back in WWE, which is why he's talking to Tony to use him to like, oh shit, we don't want Shane in AEW. It'd be embarrassing. Or McMahon in AEW. So
Because why wouldn't they take a full body picture of Tony Khan and it's just kind of Shane and his face and kind of like his shoulders
yeah,
in the picture? And a lot of
it
people
seems
are
like
like,
somebody secretly took the photo and
yeah.
hope to if it's a real photo, that's what happened. Somebody just took it secretly and you
And
know,
why would they let that go out? I mean, wouldn't Tony be pissed about that?
I'm
I mean,
sure
because
he
why would he
I'm
want
sure he
people to
would
know?
be, but nobody's gonna get punished because Tony doesn't punish anybody. Oh,
Right.
we do have to. I mean, so most likely Shane is trying to get back in WWE. I don't think he's trying to buy AEW because Tony wouldn't sell it. He
Right.
loves
Yeah, he
being the
would never
booker.
sell.
He loves being the booker, and he loves acting like he's Vince McMahon. But he isn't. But he loves pretending to be Vince because he does everything in that company.
Well, and the other
But
thing I thought of is, well, maybe he's trying to be the booker because let me tell you something, AEW sucks.
it
I'm
sucks.
not spending $15 to watch a bunch of idiots jump around like they're fucking Circus Delay.
Yeah,
And I don't have the kind of money, excuse me, to do that anyway. Now, it's different with WWE because I'm a premium Peacock
yeah,
subscription member, but that's because I watch the older wrestling as well.
yeah.
And
You
it's
have
just
to
the
have that if
combination
you
that
want
they
to.
have
Yeah,
that if you
yeah,
have a subscription to Peacock that you can actually watch that stuff.
yeah.
That's just a icing on the cake, okay? But I refuse to pay 50 fucking dollars for
Oh no,
bullshit wrestling.
and it's every month too now. Tony's holding a pay per view every month.
A
If
lot
it
of people
wasn't
took it
secretly,
secretly. I
yeah,
mean, seriously.
secretly, yeah, but yeah, I think most likely Shane is trying to get back in WWE because the last time he's in WWE, no, that was the time in WrestleMania 39 when he tore his quad. But the time
By
before that,
accident.
yeah, by the time before that, he ruined the Royal Rumble match. I think 2022
Yep.
because he beat up everybody basically. He beat
Yep.
up all the top guys and nearly won the thing. He almost won it, and most of the talent was pissed. And it's like Vince, like
Hmm.
you gotta get out of here, Shane. He fired him or whatever happened, but he's gone. He didn't see him again until WrestleMania next year. But he ruined the Royal
That
Rumble match.
well, and that's because everyone thought, well, wait a second. Shane hasn't. He's not really a wrestler. He just only wrestles when he needs to, so he
And
hasn't
he's
really paid
beating up
his
everybody.
dues. Yeah, and he was
He's
beating up top guys.
Yeah,
Of
Kevin
course, that would
Owens. I
piss you
remember.
off.
Yeah, that would
That would
piss off
piss me
most of the
off.
boys. Yeah.
Especially if I paid my dues and I went up through the ranks in wrestling,
Mhm.
like, a normal wrestler would do. And all of a sudden now I have to be beaten by the boss's kid. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, that would piss me off too.
yeah, that's how I came. I was like, oh my god, Shane just ruined this match because he had to beat up all the top guys, and
Yeah.
being the boss's son, that's a terrible look. I mean, I mean, and Vince allowed this to happen. I mean, Vince should have been. No, you could be in the match, but no, you're not beating up top guys. It's a
Right.
terrible look for you. But
Right.
Vince allowed it to happen, and shit happens. Oh, but before we wrap up, we have to mention the whole Britt Baker AOC Britt Baker.
AOC.
I don't know why she came up. Britt Baker MJF situation. Real
Yeah,
quick,
I was kind of like, because I asked you on X, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
we
I was confused.
yeah, it was apparently Britt Baker was running her mouth about MJF's girlfriend. She said
Oh
something
shit.
like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of the locker room. This is my locker room." Because she's like an interview. She's like a an interviewer. She's not really a worker.
Oh
So
shit.
this gets back to MJF, and he handled it horribly because he fucking barged into women's locker room and just punched the wall and got right in Britt's face, started yelling at her. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you, man?
It's
I
just
mean,
like
if
the whole CM Punk thing. That's why CM Punk didn't, stick around. It's because these guys just have really big egos. They don't give a fuck, and they're just gonna make shitty wrestling.
because she got a job, her MJF's girlfriend got a job because of MJF. Again, Tony
Oh,
wanted to placate
really?
MJF, so I was like, okay, let's
Of
just bring
course.
her in.
Kind of like
It's
the Vince
just
thing.
yeah, the placate. Let's give him a job. Doing what?
Hmm.
Interviewer. You don't really see her, but she's the one of the interviewers on television. So,
Hmm.
and again, this is Tony Khan's fault because if I hear
Yep.
this, I'm bringing him. I bring them both in my office. Like, the fuck are you two doing? This isn't
Yeah.
high
What the
school.
fuck?
We're professionals here. We're putting on a show. We're a business.
Yep.
This is not high school. If you have a problem, anything she said is like just swallow your pride. Who cares? And then I'd be
Hmm.
like, Britt, what the fuck are you doing yelling at this girl? I mean, first of all, I wouldn't give her a job. But let's say if I did, it's like she's here. You have to deal with her. Get over it. If you don't get
Yeah.
over it, then there's
Then I
gonna
guess you
be
can just go into another
yeah.
locker room and deal with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That you can go home. I'm not firing you, but you can go home and sit out your contract. Is I don't want you walking right into WWE because she is popular somewhat. People know who she is, so at least in the wrestling world. So
Okay.
Just start it.
That I was just confused. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I kept
it's high
seeing it
school.
like this letter just, every time I'd scroll through, I'd see this fucking letter. And I'm like, what the fuck
It's
is
like high
this?
school over there. It's like high school over there. And then, like CM Punk said, I was like, I'm tired, I'm old, and I'm working with
I'm tired of
children,
working with children. That's right.
which is
And that's
he's
why,
referring to the elite, but
yeah, and that was referenced. The thing is, when Seth Rollins had mentioned that, I went, look, it's not Punk's fault that he got run out of AEW. It was the stupid elites, and they thought they were better than everybody else, and they learned that they weren't shit.
and Tony Khan allowed it to happen
And
again.
Tony Khan allowed it to happen. Oh, he feared for his life when he wasn't even in he wasn't even in the vicinity.
Again, he allowed the shit to happen. Same thing here with Britt Baker and MJF. Oh, by the way, Britt Baker got suspended and MJF didn't, even though MJF was the one who barged into women's locker room. Who I'm sure some of the women were naked or getting dressed, and he got in her face and punched the wall. But somehow he doesn't get
Yeah.
suspended, but Britt
If
Baker
some
does.
random man comes into my locker
Yeah,
room while I'm changing, I don't want him to see me naked.
honestly, that's a fireable offense
It
because women,
is.
because especially in AEW, women are like Tony's like, oh, we want everybody to feel comfortable. We don't want anybody to be offended and all this other stuff.
Well, I don't
That's a
need some
fire,
random guy walking
just
in my
barging
locker
into
room to
the
see me
fucking locker
naked.
room.
He just probably wanted to see women naked.
Yeah,
Let's
and
be
then
honest. It doesn't matter how
yeah,
pissed you are. You're not
yeah,
just
she
gonna, lose all sense of reality and just walk through. And
yeah,
he wanted to see tits and ass,
yeah.
basically.
It was like fuck you, Britt. Blah 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 blah. I was like, oh, this is high school, and then the wrong person got suspended too. It was like, okay, Tony's like, oh, I let the disciplinary commission handle it. Aren't you the boss? I mean, why you're
Yeah,
throwing it off on some committee that you created because you don't want to make a decision. You don't want to piss anybody off.
well,
But he
sometimes you
just
have to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
yeah, and unfortunately, he just doesn't do it, which is why the locker room is like high school. Everybody
Exactly.
has their cliques, and the boss, the
Yep.
principal, Tony Khan, not doing anything,
Yep.
and it's a disaster. So yeah, we just wanted to mention those two things real quick because it's past 9 o'clock. I do have to go, but so
I
yeah,
just want to mention real quick. Tomorrow, we're doing a show. Black Magic Talk is doing a show. It's just going to be me and Matt. We're going to talk about witchcraft and pop culture and movies, basically. So, like
mm,
witchcraft in movies and witches in
okay.
movies. And then Kurt Hennig was the best. Changed my mind. I'm going to upload a new episode tomorrow while I'm at work, and it's going to be him and Dean Malenko on. I want to see men to see me naked. I don't think Brett Baker wanted that.
Yeah, that was weird. I
um,
don't know why she did that,
I mean,
but
unless she wants MJF for some reason, that's the only reason I could see, her saying, "Oh, I didn't care if he went into my locker room." Well, yeah, I would care if some guy walks into my locker room and I'm butt naked. I don't think I want them to look at me. No
yeah.
offense.
Well,
So, but yeah, so we on Kurt Hennig was the best. Changed my mind. I'm gonna upload that new episode tomorrow. It's
okay.
Kurt Hennig and Dean Malenko on Nitro. Great match. And then also we'll be back here next Saturday, 8 o'clock. Next Saturday, 8 o'clock
Hmm.
p.m. Eastern time. I'll get these times right. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. I
it's
honestly thought
fun.
you wanted to come
It
at 8.
No, it was at 7 today,
Oh
but
shoot.
it didn't go well. The start was a disaster. I had muted my mic and left it muted for the first
But
15
we
minutes.
started it over and we
Yeah,
actually
we
got
did.
to where we needed to.
Yeah, so we're good. But yeah, I mean, next Saturday, 8 o'clock, we'll do that. And did you
And
guys see the
maybe we'll
Pokemon?
get a special guest. Also, I want to mention on the August 18th at 3 p.m. I'm going to be recording a special episode with Kit Cabello. He's going to be back on my show. He did mention this on Friday, but I'm going to reiterate again
Uh-huh.
that he's going to be on my show August 18th. We're going to do two matches. It's going to be Kurt Hennig and RVD, which is in 2002, was on Heat, Sunday Night Heat. It was
Yeah.
for the Intercontinental Championship. And then we're also going to do the Tommy Dreamer match that Kurt had with Tommy Dreamer. And we'll discuss those matches. We're actually going to watch along. So the audio will be on YouTube and the video will be on Rumble.
Okay. Yeah, talking about Kid, he's coming on my show. We're going live next
Next week.
Sunday.
Next
at
week.
7 to,
Yep.
preview the DNC and to talk about the race in general and other
I
stuff
will
I'm sure will
be in
come
the
up.
chat
Okay, good.
with my two
It's at
favorite people.
7. It's at 7 o'clock Eastern next Sunday, August 11th at 7. So yeah, so an Angel in the afternoon. I don't know if I'm doing a show on Friday since I'm doing Sunday. We'll see. I might do a show anyways on Friday.
You said you were pretty
So
exhausted, so take care of yourself.
yeah, okay. Well, for now, I mean, I'm intending to do a show on Friday. If not, then I'll just say, look, the Sunday show is enough for this week. But yeah, I mean, if 7, 7, 8 for Pro Wrestling Talk, and yeah, so next week we're hopefully gonna go back to the Rumble exclusive stuff. This
Oh,
week
wait. No, we can't have
what?
pro wrestling talk next week because
Oh,
I will be at my niece's graduation party. I'm so sorry. I forgot. Yeah, that's
oh
right. We
yeah,
did cancel it
you
for
did, you
next week.
did,
I'm
you did
sorry.
mention it, yeah, and I forgot about it too because you said so.
I just remember. Wait. I just yeah. Because at 8 o'clock, it's from 4 to 8, so
Oh,
that's not
okay,
gonna work. I can't
yeah,
just
so
call in
no.
from there.
Yeah, so no pro wrestling talk next week. We'll come back
Yep.
the next Saturday, whatever date that is. I don't know right now.
Yeah, I think that the what 18th? No,
Yeah, that
17th.
would. Yeah, hold on. Let me see.
17th.
That would be the 17th. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have pro wrestling talk, just not next week because I have my niece's graduation party. I forgot. My son and I
Uh,
are going to attend that. um,
yeah. So no pro
so
wrestling
the
talk next week.
17th, the
Yeah.
17th.
We'll be back on the 17th, which we have a lot to talk about because we're going to be off
Yes.
Saturday. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, is it? So Friday 7, maybe. I'm not sure. No pro wrestling talk. So and then Sunday I'm on with Kit. So
I definitely
yeah,
will be watching that and I'll be in the chat.
okay. Well, I mean, that'll do it for this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. Please like, please subscribe, please share, because I should have been off 10 minutes ago, but whatever.
We love
I
you,
mean,
family. And
so
please
thank
come
you
and
for
join us
joining
on the
us.
17th. Yes.
Yeah, we'll be back on the 17th. So see you then.